Hey, what up guys? This is Ron with PC Battlestations, and today we're going to talk about a really unique case from darkFlash. It's the DLV22, and it goes for about $100 on Amazon right now. It comes in black and white, and what makes this case really unique is it features a vertical mount motherboard. So if you have a thick boy GPU like a 2080 Ti that's prone to GPU sag, this vertical mount motherboard might be nice. Also, the I/O panel that's usually in the back is now on top. So that means you run the cables kind of down the back, has some cable ties for some cleaner cable management. And also the glass, it has a right side glass tempered panel. So making this case perfect for those of you who have a setup that need a case on the left side. So let's take a look at this case and let's see what it has to offer. Let's do this. So they sent me the white and black one, and you know I'm always a sucker for white and black. And some of the specifications on this is it's about a little over 17 inches deep, or 440 millimeters, and then 8.5 inches or 215 millimeters wide, and then 17.5 inches or 443 millimeters tall. So taking a look at this case, like I said, the glass panel is on the right-hand side, making this case perfect for a left-hand side of your setup. And the glass panel is easily removed. It's on a hinge, 90 degrees, pop it off to remove. So take a look at the front panel. It's nice, sleek design, nice and smooth. And then on the sides, it has the mesh where you can get that airflow in on both sides, the left and the right. And then also, if you remove that, it has a nice little handle on the bottom. You can just kind of pop that off. And then the dust filter is magnetic. You can remove that to clean. And then the front panel, you can have 3 120 millimeter fans or 2 140 millimeter fans. Taking a look at the top, it has the top I/O panel, which features the power button, the reset, 2 USB 3 ports, which is nice, and also your audio inputs, which is, the headphones and a mic. And then it also has a nice, easily removable dust filter on the top. You can just pop that off real nice, clean that off. And this is actually, where you actually plug in your display cable, your Ethernet, USB, and everything like that is in the top. So that's what makes this case nice and really unique. Going over the left side panel, you can easily remove it by unscrewing the 2 screws there, and actually they don't come all the way out, so that's kind of nice. You don't unscrew them and then lose the screw somewhere, so they stay in that panel. So you just kind of pull straight out to remove it instead of kind of swing it open like a hinge. And then once you're in the back panel here, you can see that it has 2 2.5 inch SSD drive bays here that you can mount, and it has sufficient cable tie downs to kind of run all your cable management back here. So take a look at the back. This is where you actually have a couple tie downs where you tie down your cables that are coming from the top. And then also it doesn't have a PSU shroud, so you're gonna have to put your PSU in from the top. You can't just slip it in the rear. Or you can kind of do it in the back panel. You can kind of push the PSU in the back there. And then also the fans, you can install 2 120 millimeter fans if you're doing air cooling, or you can do a 240 millimeter radiator if you're doing an AIO. On the bottom there is a dust filter that you can easily remove. That is nice. And so you can face your PSU, the fan pointed down, because it has that airflow to suck in and cool off that PSU. You can remove that dust filter real easy. And then it has the sufficient legs for that airflow to come in. Taking a look inside this case, like I said, the main thing that makes this case unique is it features a vertical mount motherboard. And the motherboards that it supports are the ATX, the Micro ATX, and the Mini ITX. And then you can see that that has 7 expansion slots up top. So the max GPU length that it would support is about 12.5 inches or about 318 millimeters. So that means my 2080 Ti would just barely fit. So you can mount 2 3.5 inch hard drives, or 1 3.5 inch hard drive, and a 1 2.5 inch SSD drive. It also comes with a box that has the cleaning cloth, all your needed screws for the PSU and the motherboard standoffs, and it also has zip ties and motherboard speaker, and also a socket that you can also use for the motherboard standoffs if you just have a screwdriver. That's nice. So I want to take a look at this case to see if there's any kind of airflow issues in here. When you have a vertical mount motherboard and you have that GPU kind of standing in the middle from your front as intake, coming in the sides and the mesh flowing through, and the back is exhaust. So I ran Prime 95 in the blend mode option. Instead of just targeting only CPU, I want to target the CPU and RAM. Just wanted to kind of do a general test to see if I see any kind of, temperature issues, any kind of airflow issues. And so at idle, it ran about, 36 degrees Celsius using the Deep Cool AIO that I have. Which is pretty decent. And then the stress test using the Prime 95, the current version, it got about 61 degrees, average 61 degrees Celsius, and the noise level was just great. I think at idle was about 41 decibels, and then my fans were set to performance during the stress test, and that got up to about 45, 46 decibels, which isn't too bad at all. darkFlash also sent over their CF8 Pro case fans, which go for about $34.99. And then there are clear frosted acrylic case fans, which are kind of nice. And they easily sync with Asus Aura Sync 5-volt connector. So it makes syncing with a motherboard extremely easy, kind of a push of a button using their remote. But I also like installing software where I can have more control and kind of see exactly what's going on instead of just pushing a button and seeing exactly where it's at. And so if you like having no software to install, then this is great. It comes with a remote. But like I said, I kind of like having the more control, kind of seeing exactly by pushing the dim where it's at and also setting the speed and all that. The max speed on these fans are about 1100 RPM, and they do have the noise vibration pads on the corners. They come with a controller that you can plug in 8 of their case fans into it, and also a couple LED strips. They're proprietary connector, so there's pros and cons of that. So what's really nice is these case fans only have one cable. So if you don't like all the cables that come with the fans, each fan usually comes with 2 cables. They usually have a 4-pin PWM power connector and then a separate cable for the LEDs. So this only has one, which is kind of nice. But the bad thing is the proprietary connection, you can't plug it into another controller though, so you have to use theirs. Unfortunately, the box that I received didn't have any fan screws in it, so I had to scavenge off of other fans and use those fan screws in the build video that I have coming up using this case. So you can kind of see when I screw in the fans, I had to use only 2 in each, and then I think only 1 fan I was able to use all 4. They also sent over the Shadow Pro Air CPU cooler, which goes for about $29.99, and features a hydraulic bearing, kind of like a saucer-shaped air cooler, which has the air output towards the bottom here. We didn't use this in the build because we wanted to use an AIO for some max cooling and also for some aesthetics during the build video. But I'll definitely be testing this when I get some other air CPU coolers. I'll be putting this in the charts and see how this performs in my test bench. So all in all, I definitely like the darkFlash DLV22 case. I think it's really unique, the build quality is really good, and at a $100 price point, I definitely think it competes with all others in the price range. I've seen some others that definitely do not. So if you're looking for a vertical mounted motherboard, if you're looking for a PC case to put on the left side of your setup, check this case out. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, and we'll see you guys in the next one.